Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 English or French? English. English. Okay. Chinese? No?
We didn't order enough things.
So we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 9, Chapter 2, verse 4. 4 until 6, 7. Okay, until text 9. I think so, yes, text 9. Okay, so I'm going to read 1 line, you can read it after me. Ekada pravishadushtam Shadulo nishivarshati Shayana gava uttaya Itashta bhabramur braje Ekada pravishadushtam Shadulo nishivarshati Shayana gava uttaya Itashta bhabramur braje Ekada once upon a time Pravishad entered Goshtam the land of the cowshed Shadulo a tiger Nishi at night Vashati while it was raining Shayanaha lying down Gavaha cows Uttaya getting up Vitaha fearing Taha all of them Babramuhu scattered here and there Braje in the land surrounding the cowshed. Translation by His Divine Krishna A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Once at night, while it was raining, the tiger entered the land of the cowshed. Upon seeing the tiger, all the cows who were lying down got up in fear and scattered here and there on the land. Okay, so I'm going to read the next verses. When the very strong tiger seized the cow screamed in distress and fear, and Vishadra, hearing the screaming, immediately followed the sound. He took up his sword, but because the stars were covered by clouds, he mistook the cow for the tiger and mistakenly cut off the cow's head with great force. Because the tiger's ear had been cut off by the edge of the sword, the tiger was very afraid and he fled from that place while bleeding on the street. In the morning, when Plishadra, who was quite able to subdue his enemy, saw that he had killed the cow, although at night he thought he had killed the tiger, he was very unhappy. Although Plishadra had committed the sin unknowingly, his family priest, Vashishta, cursed him, saying, "In your next life you shall not be able to become a Kshatriya. Instead you shall take birth as a Shudra because of killing the cow." Purport. It appears that Vashishta was not free from Tamaguna, the mode of ignorance. As the family priest or spiritual master of Plishadra, Vashishta should have taken Plishadra's offense very lightly, but instead Vashishta cursed him to become a Shudra. It is the duty of a family priest not to curse a disciple, but to give him relief through the performance of some sort of atonement. Vashishta, however, did just the opposite. Therefore, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that he was Durmati. In other words, his intelligence was not very good. Okay. I'm just going to read the verse before verse 4, just so that we can contextualize a little bit what's happening. Among his sons, Krishadara, following the order of his spiritual master, was engaged as a protector of cows. He would stand all night with a sword to give the cows protection. And the verse before, then because of this desire for sons, the man who known as Shtadadev worshipped the Supreme Lord, the personality of Godhead, the Lord of the demigods. Thus he got 10 sons exactly like himself. Amongst them all, Ikshvaku was the eldest. Okay. So, English. Because the verses are speaking about cow protection in a way, and we've been with Namacharya for 2 or 3 months trying to establish cow protection. I'm going to speak on that. I guess I hope I'm a little bit qualified to speak about this. So, good news. I mean, good news. Little surprise. we found a name for the new Goshana. Oh. So, what do you think it will be called?
Bahulavan.
Yes, New Bahulavan. That will be the name of the Goshana, as per Guru Maharaj's decision, as well as Gopaswami Prabhu's advice. Because it was the name of New Mayapur before New Mayapur became New Mayapur. Srila Prabhupada changed the name because of some Chaitanya Mahaprabhu pastime when he came as a deity. Yes. So New Bahulavan, that's the Goshana in New Mayapur. Cow protection, as we can see in the verse, it wasn't just the duty of the Kshatriya, of the Vaishyas, but apparently it was also the duties of the Kshatriya under special circumstances, because the devotee protecting the cows was indeed a Kshatriya and was forced to take birth as a Shudra because of the curse of the family priest. But from this verse we can see that the cow is considered sacred by all Varnas. Even though it's mostly the Vaishya's duty to protect them, they are considered as mothers for all Varnas and all ashrams. So everyone can be engaged in protecting and worshipping the cow. The cow is sacred for many different reasons, but everything that comes from the cow is pure and useful. You can use cow dung for producing fire. In India you can see how they make cow dung patties on the walls and it dries up and they use it for fuel. You cannot do that in New Mayapur because it would never dry. Cow dung on your wall. You can use the urine for medicine. You can use the milk for nutrition. You can use the cow dung for building material. You can use it for agriculture, for reviving land that's depleted from nutrients. There's thousands of use we can do with everything that comes from the cow, and that's why it's considered the most sacred animal. And because the cow is nourishing us, she's considered as our mother. So, why would devotees need to take care of cows? Why is it not a material activity? Of course we can say it's service, and Krishna loved the cows, but it's also the duty of the Vaishyas, who may or may not be Vaishnavas, but they do have a duty. There's different types of Vaishyas, but the Vaishyas that are landowners, they have a duty to protect the cows mostly. Baladev Vidyabhushana, in his commentary on the Bhagavad Gita, he says that there is 2 types of Karma Mishra Bhakti Yoga. And the first one is Sakama Karma Yoga, and the second one is Nishkama Karma Yoga. So Sakama, it means Kama, there is, everyone, Kama. Yes, what does it mean?
Desire.
Yes, gratification, along those lines. Dharma, Artha, Karma, Moksha. So Sakama Karma Yoga is Karma Mishra Bhakti. It's devotional service mixed with karma with a desire for result. Sakama, it means you're performing bhakti, but at the same time you're expecting result from the activities that you perform in bhakti. So that's the ground, that's the base of, that's the lower level of practicing bhakti yoga, is that we perform the activities, but at the same time we want a result from those activities. And above Sakama Karma Yoga, there is Nishkama Karma Yoga. So Nish, it's privative, that's where we get Nishkama. So it's like you get no, like the word no in English, that's a derivative, it comes from Nish, it's the sound that means not. So Nishkama means no desire. So that you perform bhakti in Karma Yoga, but you got purified enough that you don't desire the result anymore. But you still perform the service as still a purificatory activity. Then, once you're purified from even the need for the action, you can, it progresses to Jnana Mishra Bhakti, and you have knowledge and so on. But because we're focusing on activities, I'm going to stay on Karma Mishra Bhakti. Srila Prabhupada said and showed a lot that he cared about devotees performing services that they are comfortable with and that they are able to feel fulfilled and satisfied with. And that is service that is in accord with devotees' swakarma or dharma. We all have, because of our body, we all have certain conditionings, certain desires, and a certain propensity to act in different ways, and that's called swakarma. That's your own karma, your own activities, your own duties. So, in a society that works, it's related to your varna, or your varna is defined by your swakarma, by the activities you are able to person. Swakarma. Swakarma. Bhakti Vikas Maharaj says swakarma sometimes as the equivalent. Anyway. No, anyway. Okay, swadharma. Swa means your own, so karma means your activity. Anyway. So swadharma as well. That's different from sanatana dharma. Sanatana dharma is the dharma of the soul, whereas swadharma is the dharma that is pertaining to your temporary material body. But because you have it, and you have to live with it, you have to do something about it. And Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita that you should not stop activity, you should not light no fire, perform no sacrifice. So that's why we do have a Goshala, and why we do have so many services we can do for Krishna. Everyone can be engaged according to his propensity, and that's why Srila Prabhupada made this temple where we can all act according to our nature, and in the process getting closer to Krishna and our parampara. So, practically speaking, as I can speak about my own experience, the only time I spent with the cows in Mayapur was when the cow passed away recently. I was with Mayapur Chandra. I don't even remember her name. What was it? Surabi. Surabi was the cow that passed away. So that's a bit sad. I have to say, I don't know how many of you go and actually see the cows in Mayapur on a regular basis. Anyone who goes and see the cows regularly?
I haven't seen them this year.
I do the seva.
Yes. So that's Bruno. That's one. Anyone else? No. Yeah. All.
Maybe we can invite them to visit us.
There is 2 cows here.
On the altar. Yeah. that's the same thing now. Same thing, not different. Yeah. So that's something that Srila Prabhupada speaks about in his book, Protecting Cows, and the value of milk products. He said that the real wealth is land and cows. Real wealth is not gold. Actually, Kali resides in a few different places, but he resides where there is gold, where there is intoxication. It said in the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, when the cow of religion is almost getting slayed by this man. So yes, the real wealth is cows and lands. Cows and land. In Kali Yuga, we are, at least now, our currency is not even based on gold anymore. It's just paper, so it's maxi tamasic, even worse. Actually, that's something that's interesting. You can see in the Krishna book, when Krishna goes to gather fruits at the market, he doesn't take gold coins to give to the merchant. He takes rice and he gives it to the merchant in exchange for fruit. As far as I understood in Varnashram, it's not that everyone has access to coins. Most of the currency is based on grains and bartering, at least for the lower class, the Shudras and even the regular Vaishyas. In a regular village setting, there's not much gold or silver trading. It's mostly exchange, and that participates to the idea that Srila Prabhupada had about simple living and high thinking. We can see that nowadays society, everything is somehow over-engineered. You need to speak to your friend before you could just walk a few steps, go to your friend's house and say Haribol, and then you'd have some kirtan, something. Now you have to have a phone made by a company, and on the phone you have to have an operating system made by another company, then you have to have an application that's made by another company, and you have a whole chain of complicated activities just to satisfy a basic need that is just speaking to your friend. Mostly devotees have the same need as regular people. Most of us, I mean, at least I'm speaking for me because I'm not so advanced, but at least we can try and simplify them to get them closer to what Krishna intended for us and for society to be. It's a very good point. Anartha means to get rid of unwanted qualities, get rid of unwanted things. And it's interesting to realize that in this perspective, we are pure, but we have dirty qualities that's accumulated on us, and that they're not us. They're just here, and we just need to get rid of them. It's not an effort that we have to make that, oh, I'm going to be pure today, I'm going to be so pure, and we make a big effort, and we're like, okay, I've been pure for 30 minutes now, like, just gonna relax a bit or something. We are pure already, but we have unwanted qualities that we accumulate during our stay in this material world, and we just need to get rid of them. So it's hard, but that's by practicing Krishna consciousness. We can engage those propensities in Krishna's service, and when Krishna is pleased and the spiritual master is pleased, we will be able to give up a little bit of our unwanted desires by engaging them in Krishna's service. Sorry, it was last minute, so I prepared a little bit, but as much as I could. So that's not only a reason for us to have chaos, that's also a reason for, again, a whole range of activities, as many activities as there are people in this world. We can engage them in Krishna service. The only activities that we have to reject is the ones that are unfavorable for Krishna service, as Rupa Goswami says. So there's not so many activities that are unfavorable for Krishna service. There's 4. There's intoxication, meat eating, gambling, and illicit sex. So that's the 4 ones that we cannot do at all. Everything else can be engaged in Krishna's service, and that's really the beauty of it. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, I don't have the Sanskrit, sorry. you can imagine in your head yourself, because I know you're all pandits. But Krishna says that we should not disturb the people who are engaged in fruitive activities and tell them to stop. We should engage them in his service instead. You see what I'm talking about? Yes, he knows. So this verse exists. I didn't make it up.
The goats.
The goats.
And then they engaged in Krishna's service.
Yes, they're cleaning Krishna's forest. Yes, why do we have goats? Do devotees know why we have goats here?
I've never seen goats in any temples.
Yeah. But did you see a temple with like dozens of acres of land that they have to manage?
Vrindavan?
Maybe.
It used to be.
Because we're at this point and I don't have much to say in this lecture anymore that's Shastra based, so I can explain to you. We have this forest that's overtaken by blackberries. Rumbles. Not just blackberries, but rumbles. And it's very hard to get rid of it. You cannot cut it, it grows back fast and so on. So the gods, they love it. That's like gulab jamun for them. So they just go and eat it all.
They don't hurt themselves?
No, they just, you can see, if you ever feed them and they're like really hungry, they bite my finger once and like they have enough strength to probably cut a tree with their teeth. I mean, that's what they do. They eat tree bark. They're thinking like, tasty tree bark. That's a sort of karma that you get a body like that, but that's why we have them. I know some devotees actually complain that, what is this tamasic animal doing in the temple? It's land management. Now we have tractors and no devotee complain that, what is this tamasic tractor doing on the property? It's normal. But then you bring in gods that are animals created by Krishna and they go like, what is this tamasic animal doing here? It's I guess, our conditioning. We see motors and we're like, 21st century, we see gods and we're like, oh my god. That's tamasic. So yes, it's just, Krishna provided everything for doing our duties easily and satisfying everyone in the process. It's quite incredible for us. We have those unwanted things growing and we need to get rid of it, and it's the pleasure of another living entity to actually get rid of it. It's amazing. It's the same cutting grass, you could get a big tractor and drive it and it goes like brr, 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 and it's a horrible noise for everyone. You put a few animals there, you put a cow and it just eat it, and then you have even land. It's amazing how Krishna does everything. Everything's arranged properly. But the system that Krishna made is, you don't have to take care of a tractor the same way you have to take care of animals. you need to develop some sort of compassion, some sort of love for them. You don't need compassion for your tractor. It's just dead matter. You fuel it and then you go like, okay, fine. When people wanted to go from places to places, they had horses. They had to take care of the horses, feed it. They had some relationship with it. Because everything in the material world, ultimately, because the spiritual world is like that, everything is based on relationship. But people thought like, oh, it's too much trouble to take care of horses. And in Paris, someone was explaining to me there was more horses than people in the 19th century, and it was creating all sorts of problems. That there was horse dung. Do you say like that? Yeah. Horse dung everywhere, and like if the horse was dying, people would just leave it on the street, and you had dead horses in different locations. And when they invented cars, they thought, oh, it's going to make the place so much cleaner. No more dead horses, no more horse dung everywhere. And then they created the peripheric, and that's 10 times worse. So that's when we come up with material solutions to material problems, instead of respecting Krishna's arrangements, we just create more problems. Now everyone's saying, oh no, we cannot. It's so many cars and it's polluting everything, and they're making electric cars, and then it's going to have more nuclear centrals and then more problems. So Krishna's society, it's made in such a way that we can satisfy our desire, but it's not hurtful to a certain extent to other living entities. It's actually conducive to everyone's growth, and that's why it's Dharma, Artha, Kama, and Moksha. You have Dharma first, and then you have Artha, which is growth, development. So from actually performing your Dharma properly, you get growth. And people are growing when they are maintained properly. Otherwise they dwindle and they die. There's 6 states of the living beings. It's birth, growth, maintenance, reproduction, dwindling, and death. Right? So to have some sort of growth is something positive. Then you get maintenance, which is sattva gun. Then you get reproduction, which is, I guess, raja gun. Then dwindling, which is tamagun. But it can be done in such a way that these things bring us closer to Krishna, or at least closer to some sort of spirituality, because in the end of the line, it's Dharma, Artha, Kama, and then it's Moksha. So by going through the whole system, you get liberation, which is what we are seeking after. We are not seeking after all sorts of liberation. Vaishnavas don't desire impersonal liberation. They don't even desire to have the same body as Lord Vishnu. But somehow we also desire to go back to the spiritual world, which is liberation as well. So that's the point of the Hari Bhakti Vilas, is that we can live as Vaishnavas in the society and get purified in the process. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he published a small book for Brahmins, Vaishnava Brahmins, because at the time the society was really under the grip of Smarta Brahmin. And Smarta Brahmin had a whole set of rules and sacrifices and everything that everyone had to do to be considered as part of the society. And so when he got a lot of Grihastha devotees, they encountered the problem that they didn't really want to stop sacrifices that were made by Smartas, because otherwise they couldn't maintain their Griha. So Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur produced a small book that was Vaishnava Samskars, based on the Hari Bhakti Vilas. And then when enough Smartas converted to Vaishnavism, and when he established Vaishnavism properly, the Vaishnava Samskar were considered as good as Smarta Brahmin Samskar. So
is that the same as the one that Gopal Bhatta Goswami
said yes.
Yes.
So Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj.
He took from this.
Or
Yeah.
he made a summary.
You can read, there's a book called Bhaktisiddhanta Vaibhav, where there is all the references.
Do you know the name?
Huh?
Do you know the name of the book?
That Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati. No, you can search it, Bhaktisiddhanta Vaibhav. That's where I heard it from. So you can, it's a big book, but you can search. Revatinandan is reading it right now, so he might have the reference. You can ask him.
Gopal Bhakti Goswami, he wrote the book,
Yeah.
Saratipika,
Yeah,
Yeah.
which has all the Vaishnavas,
yeah.
Samskaras meant for Vaishnavas.
He probably edited it and just cut some parts that were relevant to what was current at the time with the smartas. Just not include everything, but just include what's relevant for the, I guess. Anyway, that's Hare Krishna. But thank you for the precision. I didn't, I know the name of the book, but I didn't know it was speaking about that.
Interesting that in that book there is no last rites. Samskara is not there.
Oh, for the
For-
departure of the
Yes,
ancestors. Okay,
It's not there.
okay. Because they offer pinda. Yeah, they offer
Yes.
yeah.
So
But-
apparently for devotees, it's not there.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, that's so no need to do pinda for your departed ancestors.
There are some quotes what Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj recommended that
Yeah.
devotees sponsor a feast.
Yeah.
After
Okay.
13 days, there's some kind of special day.
Yeah.
And
Okay. So we can sponsor feasts when devotees. Oh, not devotees. Whoever it is that is in our family passed away. So it's meant to finish at 8:45. So it's 8:40 if anyone has questions or remarks, protests.
I'm just wondering, maybe you can answer. Vasishta is supposed to be a great sage. He was one who was, at the time of Ram, used to advise him, used to conduct a yagya for him, and Ram even was taking advice and having his tutor.
Yes.
So I'm wondering why now he's just, according to Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, behaving dogmatically.
No. In the purport. Wait. Yes, okay. Well, I asked once Guru Maharaj that why sometimes in Bhagavatam you can see some devotees, they get the darshan of Lord Vishnu and then they go and do something stupid. Like Indra does that so many times, he gets Lord Krishna's darshan and then he's thinking, oh, let me fight him. Or Daksha gets darshan of Lord Vishnu and he goes like, okay, can I have like 1,000 kids, please? It's, Guru Maharaj told me that in Srimad Bhagavatam they're all pure devotees, that's why they're in the Bhagavatam, but they represent, they play a part to teach us what to do and what not to do. So sometimes you can see, like Shukracharya, he curses Bali Maharaj, so you can think, okay, he's really against Lord Vishnu, and then he praises Lord Vishnu and he says, oh, if someone chants your name, even if the yagya is made badly, even if the place is not right, even if nothing is right, if your holy name is chanted, it makes everything right. But it's Shukracharya who's like considered like a super demon. So it's surprising. And you get so many stories like that in the Bhagavatam where you get some devotees who appear to be very pure and then do something that doesn't seem very pure, or the contrary, they don't seem very pure at all, and then they just do something very devotional. So in the end, it's all because they're all devotees. So it's all lila. It's not you don't look at Krishna's pastime and you don't go like, oh, Krishna is in love with someone else's wife and that's very bad. That's what the Christian would do when they came to India and they saw Vaishnavas and they were like, oh wait, what kind of God you're worshipping? He's doing extramarital affairs and all sorts of terrible things. So it's a little bit of the same when we read the Srimad Bhagavatam as far as I'm understood, because I don't have any quotes to sustain my position. I just tell you what my spiritual master told me, that they're all pure devotees, but they're all playing a role in the Bhagavatam just for us to hear about the stories and get inspiration from them. Hare Krishna, it's okay.
That is just want to fine tune a little bit our discussion about the Sakama and the Nishkama Karma Yoga.
Yes.
The thing is that if you are performing Sakama Karma Yoga, you are performing the work you like to do.
Yeah.
And you are desiring the fruits.
Yeah.
If you are performing Nishkama Karma Yoga, you are still doing the work you want to do, but you are not desiring the fruits. That's the difference. And if you are performing pure bhakti, you do anything. Doesn't matter if you like it or not.
Okay.
So that's the difference.
Okay.
There's
That's
still some attachment to the work.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Thank you. Okay, thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Shila Prabhupada ki. Srimad Bhagavatam ki.
Jai.
These guys, Vidura, Prabhu ki.
Not Jai. Anjay. Anjay.
No.
Please.
No, you are not. To the means by which you are performing.
En fait, dans le Bhagavatam,
So,
Shukracharya il dit ça,
if you are
et juste avant il chantait les saints noms dans son assemblée
preaching
pour acquérir
You
la
can use
puissance afin
anything
de défaire
outside, like I have falls.
les... Je l'ai pas fait parce que t'es sur le siège, t'es incorrigeable, incorrigible.
Ça va, tout le monde m'a un
If
peu
you
corrigé.
are performing Sakama Karma Yoga, you are attached. Yes. So,
Même avec cette histoire de Lila, il y a toujours une raison un peu derrière qui fait que...
more less by TV for preaching.
Ça va, ça allait?
Bah écoute...
Écoute, non, mais...
Moi j'ai adoré.
J'ai toléré.
J'ai adoré.
Ah ouais?
Je gardais mon attention fermement fixée sur les clés.
Yes, because you need to make it different.
Parce que j'ai un problème.
No, it's usually water. You make like, when you boil condensed milk. Boil it, then it goes caramel. So that should be good. But it's really hard to feel it properly. Maybe you need to get walls from that, then put it inside. You can freeze it and put it inside.
Yes, but the thing is, if you have high sugar content,
Yes, it doesn't, you don't
it doesn't properly freeze, it's like gooey.
Oh.
But I have an idea. I use this shape,
Yes.
I make a flat, relatively flat version, and then I make some space, I turn it around, I make some space, and then I pull it inside, and then I put a lid and I squash it.
Let's see, it feels a little bit too complex.
Yeah, very complex. Has to be.
Or you just put some tapioca flour in it.